We have a second video that was a photo reel.
Nakuja na upanga na bunde tatu. Kama naingia naingia na dot. Na chapa dot na bunde. Napata kama napata hapa. Mimi siendi kwa barabara. Iko tu hapa. Mguu yako mbaya. Hawezi enda huko. Napigana na mimi gani?
Nilipiga na bullet 9 kwa mgongo. Nasikia vibaya sana. Naomba msaidie.
Pale ndio wakaanza kunipiga mimi risasi. Hapo Huyu jamaa anajulikana. Pale yeye natoka. Kila mara yeye ananiwinda kama mnyama. Naomba yeye Mungu iko na sitarudi nyuma.
Hata nikasema hiyo watu wapigwe risasi, kwa nini hawezi kupigwa? Mimi nitapiga mtu risasi.
When I came out of the house, I was with my daughter and a neighbor's daughter. So these boys came running and they passed us. And this guy was also coming running also. I thought he was just a civilian who was running away from the police. All of a sudden, he had a gun, he removed it from the jacket and then brandished on me. So when I was surprised, why is this guy brandishing a gun on me? I just had a spot on my chest and fell down.
Vile tulilala kwa sitting room, nyumba ikachomeka. Vile ilichomeka, tukakuja nje. Vile tulikuja nje, ukanipea kitambaa. Vile ulinipea kitambaa, gasi imenipata hapa, nimechomeka sahi.
Wapi?
Hapa sahi kwa matako na hapa kwa
The shortest verse in the Bible, John 11:35. Jesus wept in respect to the pain he felt when he got the news of the death of his friend Lazarus. We stand here in cognizance of the word of God that we should weep with those who are weeping, mourn with those who are mourning. Allow me, Your Excellency, sir, to invite the minority leader in the National Assembly, Honorable James Opio Wandai, to guide us in the next bit. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Baggy. I'm sure you have all been able to see for yourselves the kind of atrocities that have been meted on hapless Kenyans. It's a sad moment that we are witnessing this 60 years after our independence. The kind of cruelty that has been exhibited by state agents or people calling themselves state agents is something that was never witnessed even the darkest moments of our colonial history. It's also important to note that the names you have seen scrolling on the screens are basically some of the names that we've been able to document so far. There are a lot more people that have since lost their lives in the hands of the police, whose names we are yet to document. There are also a lot more people who have suffered injuries and are lying either in hospitals or in their homes, whose details we are yet to document. There are equally a lot more people who, as we speak, remain unaccounted for. And in the fullness of time, we shall be able to have a clearer picture. So this is work in progress. But we must say that this is a really most unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in this country. And in order to continue to immortalize those who have lost their lives, because we believe strongly that their deaths shall not be in vain, that however long it takes, those who are responsible for these unfortunate and premature deaths shall be held to account. It doesn't really matter how long it takes. Doesn't really matter. And this warning should go out to William Ruto and his surrogates that Kenyans shall not rest easy until the perpetrators of these heinous crimes are eventually brought to book. So in order to immortalize these very, very gallant souls, we shall continue to name them over and over again. And therefore, that's what I'll do right away. Let me once again go through the names of those who have lost their lives very, very quickly. And these people are all over the country. They're all over the country, but the most unfortunate thing, is that all these deaths have been caused by police weapons. All these deaths, without exception. So, number 1, Regan Otieno Adero, Stephen Okinyi, Mudoka Mutunga, Benjamin Imbi, Raphael Shigali, Mr. Kalasinga, Faith Wairimu, Edward Wanjala, Charles Ochieng, Dennis Mwendo Mwikali, Eunice Mudheu, John Musa, Derek Adongo, William Manyange, Peter Ngolanie, Fanuel Ochieng Okelo, John Ochieng, Jojo Togo, Pascal Owino Hayongo, Harris Ochieng, Bernard Ochieng Otana, Meshak Ishereka, Joseph Ogonda Muga, Harris Ochieng, Bernard Kilonzo Mwanzia, Alex Mutinda Nzuve, David Agan, Pascal Owino, Felix Otieno Duor, Muthakie Mudhui, John Okoth, George Odhiambo Anyama, John Ochieng, Felix Otieno Opio, Duncan Simiu, and a lot more, of course, who have suffered various forms of injuries, whose names I want to repeat for sake of time. Let me, at this juncture, as I acknowledge the presence of my colleague members of parliament from both National Assembly and the Senate, just be upstanding for just 1 minute. Members of the National Assembly and Senate, thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. I will be asking on your behalf the Honorable Mishi Mboku, the Honorable Commissioner Mishi Mboku, to come forward and make some very, very few remarks before we can proceed. But as she comes forward, let me acknowledge the gallant patriots who endured police arrests and were held, some of them were held incommunicado. Some of them are amongst us here, like Honorable Oluoch. Where are you? Honorable Oluoch of Madare. We recognize the Honorable Babu Owino of Embakasi East, the Honorable Ken Chonga of Kilifi South, the Honorable Speaker Teddy Mwambire of Kilifi, our members of County Assembly, the leader of majority of the Nairobi County Assembly, Mheshimiwa Emwatok, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Makueni, is yet to be here, yeah. Is yet to be released, okay, and various other members of the county assemblies. Thank you very much. May God bless who? Yeah, of course. We have Honorable Maina Njenga, our friend Gaucho himself, and many, many others. Thank you. Karibu Mheshimiwa Mishi Mboku.
Wazalendo wenzangu wa Kenya, tukiongozwa hapa na kinara wetu Mheshimiwa Raila pamoja na vinara wengine wakiwa kina Kalonzo, kina Kioni, kina Wairia na waona hapa, na wale wengine wote ambao wako pamoja na baba. Leo ni siku ya huzuni sana, na tuko hapa kwa sababu ya maombolezi ya kupoteza Wakenya wetu, vijana wetu wa kike na wa kiume, wazee wetu waume na wa kike, na pia kuomboleza wale ambao wameshikwa na wako katika seli katika taifa hili la Kenya, na wale ambao wako hospitalini sasa hivi ambao wako na majeraha tofauti. Kwa hakika ni wingu la simanzi ya masikitiko kama taifa la Kenya, na tunajiuliza maswali mengi. Sisi kama taifa la Kenya tulipigana na mbeberu, na tulipopigana na mbeberu tulitaka haki zetu kama Wakenya. Tulitaka haki zetu za kimsingi ziweze kuheshimika. Tulitaka hadhi zetu kama Wakenya ziweze kuheshimika. Na baada ya kumtoa mbeberu, tuliweza pia kupigana kama Wakenya kuweza kuleta katiba, tuwe na sheria ya kuweza kuangalia haki za Wakenya. Tukaweka katiba ambayo katika sura yake moja imezungumzia maadili ya kitaifa. Na katika maadili ya kitaifa ni kumheshimu Mkenya na kumfanya Mkenya aishi maisha ya kuheshimika. Katika maadili ya kitaifa ni umoja wetu kama Wakenya. Katika maadili yetu ya kitaifa ni kumwangalia Mkenya ya kwamba ameishi maisha ambayo ni ya kuheshimika. Katika sura nyingine nimezungumzia maadili haswa ya haki za kimsingi za Wakenya. Tumeshangaa sana kuona ya kwamba taifa hili linaongozwa na uongozi ambao haufuati katiba, uongozi ambao hauangalii maadili ya Wakenya, maadili ya kwamba Mkenya lazima awe na haki ya kuishi. Hakuna ruhusa ya kumuua mtu yoyote ama Mkenya yoyote. Leo nasikitika kuona vijana wetu, vijana zaidi ya 50 wakipigwa marisasi, wakiuawa, wamekuwa tortured. Ajabu ni kwamba wanaowapiga marisasi ni Wakenya wenzao. Wakenya ambao sisi Wakenya tunawatolea ushuru, kuwalipa mishahara yao, kuwalipa pesa zao za rent na kuwalipa marupurupu walionayo. Leo taifa limegeuka. Wakenya wanashurutishwa kuwa Wakenya wenzao. Tunaenda wapi kama taifa sisi? Ni masikitiko makubwa na mshangao ya kwamba viongozi wanaweza kusimama na kusema tunawapongeza polisi, tunawapa hongera kwa kazi nzuri. Kazi ya kuua Wakenya, kazi ya kuua vijana wadogo, kazi ya kuua kina mama, kazi ya kuua wazee. Jamani, ni Wakristo wa aina gani hao? Ni Waislamu wa aina gani? Ni Biblia gani mnaoisoma inayoshurutisha kuua na kutoa roho za watu? Ni Qurani gani mnaoisoma inayoshurutisha kutoa roho za watu na kuua watu? And yet you call yourselves Christians, and yet you call yourselves Muslims. Mungu aliye hai, Allah, Jehova, Nyasaye, Mulungu, Ngai, halali. Na haki itapatikana, na tunajua baada ya dhiki ni faraja. Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga na vinara wenzako, tunajua muliekewa target muweze kumalizwa, lakini sisi Waislamu tunasema la ilaha illa Allah. Yani Mwenyezi Mungu ni mmoja, na Mwenyezi Mungu ana uwezo na ana nguvu kuliko nguvu za wale binadamu ambao wamekuwa na kiburi. Ni masikitiko makubwa sana. Watu wanatolewa majumbani, watu wamekaa, wengine hata ni walemavu, hawawezi kutembea, hawawezi kuona, hawawezi kusema, wanatolewa ndani ya nyumba, wanapigwa marisasi. Kijana mmoja anapigwa bullet 9, risasi 9. Hata wewe polisi, wewe hukuzaliwa, wewe huna mtoto, hujui uchungu wa mwana, hujui uchungu wa ndugu, hujui uchungu wa taifa la Kenya. Sisi kama viongozi na sisi kama wazalendo wa taifa, safari hino ni ngumu, ni safari ya mawimbi, ni safari ya tufani, lakini tutakutembea na safari hii. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba haki ya Mkenya haitaangamia. Raila Odinga na vinara hawajipiganii wao, wanapigania Mkenya ambaye leo anaishi katika uchochole, anaishi katika maisha ya dhiki, hana chakula, hana afya, hana elimu, and yet anaambiwa wewe vumilia tu kuwa Mkenya. Jamani, hata nyinyi ambao mmechukua utawala katika taifa la Kenya, hamuna imani? Hata nyinyi mliochukua utawala katika taifa la Kenya, hamuangalii matukio, hamuoni, hamusikii, hamuna hata emotions, hata feelings za kiroho na za kidini na za kiutu. Utu wenu uko wapi? Utu wenu umeenda wapi katika taifa hili la Kenya jamani? Yani imekuwa binadamu kuuliwa ni kitu tu cha seconds tu. Tena mtu anatembea bila kujali na kufungua tu bunduki ambazo sisi wenyewe wa Kenya tumetoa ushuru kila kukicha ili zitusaidie na magaidi wale ambao wanatuvamia kama taifa la Kenya. Zitusaidie na wale ambao wanaweza kutufanyia madhara katika taifa la Kenya. Leo bunduki zimegeuka kututoa sisi roho zetu sisi kama taifa la Kenya. Haitowezekana. Sisi kama kina mama, ni ndugu zangu wa Kenya wenzangu, naomba tushirikiane, tuwachangie hawa ndugu zetu ambao wamepatikana na majanga ya vifo, ambao wamepatikana na majeraha, ambao wako kule makotini na wengine wako kule maseli, wanateseka, wananyanyaswa. Jamani, kwani Wakenya tulikuwa tumefungua macho ama ni nini? Ama ya wale aliyetufanyia maovu Bwana Chebukati, ukatupa utawala uno usiokuwa na imani, usiokuwa na dini. Mtawala akikosa dini, akikosa imani, akikosa utu, ni haya ndio tutakuwa tunayaona sisi. Lakini hatutarudi nyuma. Baba, tunashukuru vinara wenzako wote, akiwemo mama yetu Martha ambaye yuko hapa leo. Tunashukuru kila Mkenya ambaye atasimama katika vita hivi. Tunajua hata katika Biblia, katika Kurani, tunajua mitume walisimama katika vita vikubwa. Hata Jesus Christ ambaye tunamuita Nabii Isa alisimamia vita vikubwa sana. Hata Moses alipigana vita vikubwa sana, na tunajua vita vyote vilivyopigana mwisho waliweza kufanikiwa na kupita. Haikuwa Firauni alijiita Mwenyezi Mungu na hatima ya Mungu ilifika. Basi wewe mtawala wa sasa hujafikia kuwa Firauni, hata yako itafika inshallah. Wabillahi taufik.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Mishi Mboko. Let me also acknowledge the presence of the honorable members of county assemblies, starting with the County Assembly of Nairobi, the County Assembly of Machakos. Hayo waheshimiwa wawili tumekuwa nao Kizimani hapo awali. Let me also take this chance again to thank you, honorable members of parliament and the MCAs, for having come forward to contribute very, very generously towards this cause, materially and in kind. You have been really, really a source of inspiration to all of us. Thank you, and we will continue with the same spirit. A lot more will be talked about the fund, shortly. At this juncture, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome to the stage His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to make some remarks. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, ndugu Pio Ndai, Brother Raila, Brother Eugene, Mwami Wycliffe Oparanya, Governor Iria, Jeremiah Kioni, and our members of parliament, and leaders from all of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow mourners, I've been asked to read this statement on behalf of all of us as Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. and the subject is Azimio statement on vigils, prayers, and support for police brutality victims, dated today, July the 26th, 2023. This afternoon, we took time to visit the victims of police brutality who are receiving treatment in various hospitals in Nairobi. More specifically, we went to Mama Lucy Hospital and to Kenyatta National Hospital. We have also been able to visit the city mortuary. We visited the other day Shalom Hospital, the Sister Mother and Jeremiah Kioni, I think, and Mwangi. We even went all the way to Machakos Level 5 Hospital. This visit was also part of our effort to get as complete a picture as possible of the pain inflicted on protesters and demonstrators, innocent Kenyans, by the police. A similar exercise has gone on in different places across our country. We wish to extend our very deep and sincere sympathies to families of the loved ones that we have lost and those who have been injured. From this afternoon's visit and reports from across the country, it is clear Kenyans have gone through horror and terror these past days. People whose only crime was to protest against policies that they feel worked against them have been shot, clobbered to a pulp, or maimed. A number of the injured may never walk again. Many may be condemned to a life on wheelchairs. These Kenyans are in our prayers, and we trust that our God, who stands for justice and whom we all know never sleeps nor slumbers, will lift them up. Unfortunately, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki, whom I know very well, in fact, I call him in local languages out there, across the River Tana, Sentaka, whom I know well. I don't know what has gone to him. Seems to love that brutality and takes pride in it. He had offered some more and heavier dose of brutality and gunfire today, despite our announcement that we would only be holding vigils in honor of the victims. We pray that the fair and just God will enable Professor Kindiki to live long enough to be able to witness justice being done to these victims of state-sponsored brutality. In the fullness of time, justice will have to be done. Justice is the only way to ensure peace and stability in our country. We know there can be no peace without justice. I refer to the book of Isaiah chapter 1 at verse 17, and I quote, "Learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and please the widow's cause." End of quote. Professor Kindiki must make no mistake. We will pursue justice locally and internationally for these injured and slain heroes. These people who have been shot in cold blood, in cold July, are heroes and patriots. All they were asking for is to get a fair, just, and caring nation where their complaints are taken seriously as an attempt to create a more perfect nation. At this moment, we thank all those Kenyans who have extended any kind of help to the families and victims. People need a lot of help because of the magnitude of injuries and deaths. We encourage more people to come out and help in whichever way little they can. We appeal to Kenyans of goodwill not to tire of doing good. We extend our deep appreciation to our medical personnel, all caregivers, and first responders like the Kenya Red Cross, for going all out to ensure the injured got treatment and the dead got preserved with dignity. We know it was a wish of Interior CS that the injured don't get help and the dead don't get acknowledged by hospitals and government agencies. That order remains in place as we speak, which is why getting an accurate and complete figure of the dead is difficult. But we will get there. We are working meticulously, day and night, and I thank you, Pio and I and your team, even for the presentation. The world now knows what has actually happened in our country in the last few days, and I think we want to thank Opio and that team. We also thank our members of parliament and county assembly members for their continued support for and solidarity with our people, particularly in rural areas. As we speak, there are many Kenyans who are some in police custody, and I know that some of our learned colleagues have gone out there. Dunstan Omari stands out because he stood with our teams and Degwa, Jiro. We want to thank you. And because some of you actually been doing it pro bono to get these young men out. I know that a young council called Kala in Machakos got all the 43 out as of yesterday. So we really appreciate all this. And in fact, some of you are even paying because these young men can hardly pay the bail cash, 10,000, 5,000, some cannot even afford. And you members of parliament and county assembly were been able to do this cause justice. Our governors who have extended help, we recognize you and also thank you. We recognize the efforts you are making at the grassroots in rural areas where people need help most. Above all, we encourage everyone not to tire of doing good. We further take this opportunity to thank all those who have come out to honor and show love for our slain and injured heroes with candles and flowers. Indeed, they're also heroines. So a young lady who was coming from the Dagoretti corner there got shot for no reason, even in our private parts. Please don't tire. You've been able to give out candles out there as of midnight last night and flowers. Let's all not get tired. The vigils, the prayers, and the laying of flowers continues tomorrow and throughout the weekend. We appeal to all our houses of worship to dedicate prayers to these heroes and innocent souls and for our country. In fact, I remember some of them issuing that call to prayer, which could have been last weekend. But we say, please continue and mourn with us. Let's pray for God to soften the hearts of the pharaohs. Michi Boko, you mentioned that very well. The pharaohs in government who would rather harm and kill our people instead of letting them go in the spirit of justice and freedom 6 years after independence. As part of our love and honor for the slain and injured heroes of this struggle, we will hold interdenominational prayers on Friday, the 26th July 2023. That's a day after tomorrow, here in Nairobi, and they should also be replicated in the counties across the country. We will bless the souls of the injured and the dead. We will pray for the pharaohs in government to listen to the cries of our people about the high taxes and the rising cost of living. We will pray for our police to know that the people they brutalize, maim, and kill are indeed their brothers, their sisters, and fellow citizens. What became of the new title, National Police Service? It is now the opposite. It is a terrorizing force. We will continue praying for and pleading with the international community and all its institutions, especially those in the field of justice, democracy, and human rights, to stand with Kenyans against a regime gone rogue. During the prayers, we will call on the international community to call Kenya security agencies to order. Indeed, some of them have called them out, like the International Human Rights Commission in Geneva. Call them out. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. The international community must never lose sight of this fact. And either we are going as Africa to accept that it is the turn of Africa to rise and therefore be serious about the conduct of democracy, or we accept that as the law of the jungle, literally the law of the jungle applies, and making nonsense of any pretense at democracy and democratic governance. On Friday, we shall also announce the next steps forward with our anti-tax protest. Let's make no mistake. Kenyans are still hurting, and we shall not relent until this regime acknowledges this grim reality of suffering and agrees to repeal the infamous Finance Act. We call on Kenyans not to surrender. We must not, and we will not give up. Let us take comfort in the fact that the world has seen worse and more brutal regimes before. No regime can be so brutal as to outlive its people. We shall overcome. Justice shall be done. Not our will, God, but God's will. And this struggle continues, aluta continua. I thank you. In fact, looking at some of the names, a young boy of 13 years old. I mean, what has happened to a sense of morality? The majority of those killed and injured are young people. And yet, we have people in office pretending they want to help our youth get employment, our youth get to be able, because Lovik Ayondi, a minor, 13 years, Kibera Mashimoni, was shot on the right leg, a 13-year-old. We've seen them today. I could see my brother Raila was not in a hurry. He wanted to see each one of them. We couldn't, because we also felt that this is an important matter. And I think the world now knows what is happening in our wonderful nation. The choice is, do we allow it to deteriorate, or do we, as Shakespeare said in one of Shakespearean tragedies, Hamlet, or do we take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, end them? Of course, Hamlet was trying to commit suicide. We can't afford to commit suicide in our nation. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those remarks. As we unveil now officially the wall of the patriots who paid in one way or another, either with their lives or nursing injuries, allow me to invite DAP Party Leader, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, to lead us in a popular song by Horatio Spafford and Philip Bliss, It Is Well, as the technical team lays on stage. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I was never very good at a choir. Maybe the parliamentary choir could have helped us with this, Bwana Kosin. But as the technical team is setting up, the song will be projected on the screens so that we sing together, we fellowship together as we mourn with the bereaved families. My condolences to all those who have lost their dear ones. And our prayers today go to those who are wounded and who are still in various hospitals. I had the opportunity to mourn with the family of one of the victims. On that list, there was a young man called Edward Wanjala. Edward Wanjala was 27 years old. He had gone looking for a job somewhere in Athi River. He was in Mlolongo on that fateful day. And they were fleeing from the police. And Edward, just like the other over 30 victims, was shot at the back of his head. The bullet entered at the back and it exited in the front, blowing his face. And many of the 30 victims were killed in a similar way. They were fleeing from the police. They were not posing any danger to the police. For the armed officers to be justified according to our laws to use their firearms against unarmed, peaceful demonstrators. They were not in any danger. We have had a statement issued by the PS Interior saying that police officers were attacked and one officer lost his life. It tells you who had the guns and the bullets. We are mourning over 30 shot by the police, gunshot wounds, each one of them. But they are saying there's one officer who lost their life against this over 30. We want to say poleni kwa wale wote wamepoteza wapendwa wenu. And as the team is setting up, we want to assure you by this Friday, we will be having an interdenominational service. We will continue with the morning and the prayers through the weekend. We will be going to different parts of Kenya to mourn with you. That is what we will be doing. Now, I do not see Thank you. So as they're setting up, we will start the laying of flowers, and we will be led in this session by our leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. He'll be the first one on behalf of Azimio and all Kenyans to lay a flower in memory of our dear departed. And he will also lead the nation in lighting the candle. And we want to ask all Kenyans across our country to light up a candle today and to say a prayer for the dear departed. As our leader is doing this, we are happy that across the country I've seen in Kisii already people have started lighting candles. Please, in your own special way, as the right on, do so in memory of our dear departed. And after our leader, we'll ask the Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to come and also, thank you very much. Our leader lays the flowers in memory of the dear departed. His Excellency, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka will follow to do the same, to lay the flower and observe a minute of silence. And he'll thereafter also light a candle in memory of the dear departed. After His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, I will ask my other co-principals, the Honorable Governor Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, the first Governor of Kakamega and the Deputy Party Leader of ODM, to come and also lay his flower and light a candle in memory of the dear departed. After Governor Oparanya, we'll have Governor Mwangi wa Iria, who will follow to honor our heroes and heroines whose lives were cut short by the brutal force of the police. The Honorable Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya has lit the candle in memory of our dear departed. Governor Wairia, the first governor of Murang'a County, and the party leader of Usawa Party. My co-principal will now do the same. After Governor Wairia, we'll have the SG of Jubilee, the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, to come and do the same. And I think on behalf of the parliamentarians, I'll ask the minority leader, the Honorable Opio Wandai, to come and do the same, and also the leader of the Senate. We have the leaders of both houses of parliament representing their colleagues in the National Assembly as well as in the Senate. In honor of our dear departed, they will lay the flowers and light a candle in memory of them. The minority leader, Opio Wandai, has done that. Now, we'll have the minority leader of the Senate. Thank you very much, Justice, for that. And now may we have the song so that we can sing together as I also go down to do the same, to lay the wreath and light a candle. The technical people, I think you know this song very well. As we start, where are the technical people? Please, I think I don't know if the cameras would mind you standing. Okay, let us start, please. Please, let us continue. Yes, on behalf of the ladies, please continue. Continue. Lay a wreath. Please continue. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
As the women leaders lay the flowers, with my soul. Niombe sasa tuimbe pamoja. Let us sing together this song, then we can conclude.
Hata wewe kijiji uko na watoto, hata wewe uko umezaa, uko na ndugu zako, lakini ujue lazima uwe na utu kama Wakenya. Wewe ni mzigo, wewe kijipenda tuweza kama the freedom we fought to get independence. Let them forgive all of us. Watuweza kusimama nao. Let them shoot us as bandits. Watupige marisasi. Hata kupiga mama. Tukupe sote. Too much. Too much. Inapita. Let them watupige marisasi. Kupiga mama wote wa Kenya. Let them come and shoot us. Because we are the mother of the world. And the guns. Tupige marisasi.
Allow me to thank you and now request that our protocol teams assist our leaders who are overwhelmed with grief. Thank you, the women leaders, the youth leaders. Thank you. May I also request now, our function is still on. We have a last part. Kindly, may I have now all camera people vacating the stage. Most kindly. Protocol officers, please help our honorable members of the Kindly. May we be seated. Thank you, DJ. Allow me now. We have, I think that is the last one. Okay, could we kindly? Protocol team, just give the flowers quickly. Yes, just give the flowers quickly. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Tiende. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Mwenje. Thank you, Wakili. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Enoch Wambua. Thank you, Dr. Oburu Oginga. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Mbui. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Anthony Oluoch. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Muliongi. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Posi. Could I have the background music playing at a low level though? At a low level, kindly, DJ. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Mawade. Asante, Dr. Un. Thank you, Chair, Dr. Gikal. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Martin Owino, Mheshimiwa Maungu. Thank you, Mheshimiwa Kul. Asante sana. Thank you, S.A. Edwin Sifuna. Asante Mheshimiwa Tandi, asante Mheshimiwa Koyo, Mheshimiwa Ago, asante sana. Asante wajumbe wote Nairobi City County Assembly, thank you. Thank you very much. Our MCAs. Thank you Mheshimiwa Diegen, Mheshimiwa Kajuan, Mheshimiwa Dipo, thank you. Asante Shehe and all the youth leaders as well. Thank you. Wapatiwe maua. Tujaribu tujikaze kidogo. Brayo, tafadhali tujikaze kidogo. Mheshimiwa Kamau, Chenjera, tujikaze. Tuwapatie nafasi kwa haraka. Asante sana. Asante. Tujikaze kidogo. Mheshimiwa Diokech, thank you and quick recovery. Kindly. I think tutamaliza kwa Mheshimiwa Randiki and that will be it. Asante, we have to end it there. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Asante. Asante. Thank you. Thank you. I will request a bit of order now. And allow me, kindly, may we be all seated. You're standing in front of a camera. Kindly. Thank you. Your Excellencies, allow me to invite Honorable Stewart Mazayo for a vote of thanks, after which he will read for the official minute of silence, and then I'll come back to wrap up. Welcome, Mheshimiwa.
Asante. Wakenya wenzangu, kwanza nataka niwapatie shukrani sana kwa kuja ili kuweza kuwa na sisi katika hii taasisi yetu tulionayo. Kitu cha pili ni kwamba nataka kuwashukuru wale wote ambao wametoka mbali, Wakenya wote wametoka mbali. Nataka kuwashukuru vinara wetu. Pia vile vile nataka kuwashukuru waheshimiwa wenzangu bunge la kitaifa, maseneta. Nataka kuwashukuru ma MCA wote walioko hapa. Nataka kuwashukuru vile vile na mama ambao tumeona juhudi zao wakiwa hapa. Najua uchungu wa mwana, tunasema ya kwamba anayojua ni mama, na tumeona leo hisani ya mama kwa uchungu aliokuwa anasikia. Poleni sana kina mama mlioko hapa, poleni sana kina mama mlioko manyumbani huko. Tunajua yote haya yalifanywa na nguvu za shetani. Hatungepoteza Wakenya kwa sababu tulikuwa tunafanya yalikuwa ni haki kulingana na katiba ya maandamano. Tunamwachia Mungu wote waliokwenda mbele za haki, na sisi tuliobaki tutaendelea katika safari hii. Viongozi wetu, nataka kuhakikishia kwamba tuko pamoja na nyinyi, hatutawacha katika safari hii, tutaenda pamoja. Jambo la kuhuzunisha kwa Wakenya hivi leo, lakini letu tu ni kuregesha imani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu na kusema ya kwamba tutafaulu katika safari hii. Nataka kwa sababu ya wakati, nataka niwaombe yote mlioko, tusimame kwa heshima ya wale wote ambao waliweza kupoteza maisha yao kwa dakika moja. Unaweza kukaa. Asanteni sana, Mungu atubariki.
Asante Mheshimiwa, chambilecho wahenga kilicho na mwanzo hakikosi mwisho. Basi hapa tumefikia tamati ya hafla yetu ya siku ya leo. Niombe kwa heshima na taadhima zote tusimame wima kwa wimbo wa taifa tukaashiria mwisho wa hafla yetu ya siku ya leo. Kofia zisizo rasmi zisalie kuvuliwa. Wimbo wa taifa.
Asante, tuwaruhusu vinara kuondoka kwanza. Neema ya Mungu iwe juu yenu sasa na siku zote za maisha yenu.
So guys, that's the end of the event of the day, and as you all have heard from the Azimio leaders, they will be bringing a press briefing on Friday on whether the maandamano will be continuing, and that's it for today. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. It's a sad day for our country, Kenya, and hopefully all those souls rest in peace. Today was the candle lighting for the bereaved, and flowers, but it's been a successful day, all thanks to the Lord. So guys, kindly subscribe, like, and it's been a great day. Thank you so much, guys. I thank you guys for watching this video. Kindly subscribe to the channel, and let us meet on Friday for another press briefing, as Azimio leaders will be directing us on the way forward. Thank you guys. Adios muchachos. Peace for now. Thank you.